Hello, everybody out there. This is Anthony and Jesse, and we are going to do a more in-depth breakdown of the new Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
So again, we're just out of it. Continuing our non-spoiler discussion, or jumping into the spoiler section, I guess. So it opens. You get those scenes you see in the trailer. The recapture of Galen, Erso.
Yeah.
You see Jyn get away through her guardian Saul.
Well, they already had the contingency plan,
and that makes sense.
Set up,
Yeah. I mean,
they had like a kind of like a bunker cave hideout spot, and they'd go hide there, and then he'd come get them.
So basically, yeah, what we have is since Catalyst, you have the Ersos living on their own, trying to be farmers, getting rounded up. And as I was saying, with the Catalyst talk, I was expecting the wife, what's her name? Lira, to die. And, hey, spoiler warning, it happens in the opening bit of this movie.
Yeah.
And I think it was pretty forced. It didn't make a lot of logical sense for me.
Well, I mean, it's one of them things, like, they were getting delivered to the planet at the end of Catalyst. This was their escape. I don't know if I'm assuming, not much time has really passed.
No, the girl, Jyn looks the same. She looks like six or nine or somewhere.
I'd say she was probably 5 or 6 years old max. Yeah. And I think she was 4 or 5 at the end of Catalyst, so not much. I mean, it didn't take him long to figure out where they were.
Right.
It probably happened the way it needed to happen because she won't go in with the Empire.
Right, and
so,
but you don't see her. There's no. That scene happens, and then there's no development scenes with Jyn. You don't see her growing up anymore. You hear a little bit about it, but you don't see it.
I don't think they needed to spend a lot of time.
Well, but for me, I didn't feel that connection to that character. So, when those emotional beats happen later in the movie, I wasn't as invested with her.
I did, but not because I got to know her growing up. I had an emotional connection to it because what her father and her mother went through, and how much they loved her, and all they wanted to do was just get away from it all, and it found them again, and. So, I connected the dots, so to speak. I guess.
I mean, I see what they were doing. It as a film didn't quite connect with me.
Mm-hmm.
So we jump ahead. We're now on Jeddah. It does a couple planet hops.
Yeah.
Quickly to show you characters and show you Empire talks happening here and this other planet.
Yeah, and then they're kind of on this one. Everything's under Imperial
control.
Yeah, I mean, there's a massive presence. There's stormtroopers everywhere, and
the next major scene for me was the Jeddah scene.
Okay, yeah. When they're going there looking for Saw.
Yeah, everything else is kind of it's a little exposition heavy. You hear the rebellion saves Jyn. Again, you see this in the trailer. They convince her to go look for her dad. Again, in the trailer. And then you get to Jeddah, where you're getting remnants, you're getting Jedi references, you're getting a faction that was kicked out of the Rebel Alliance for being too brutal and bloodthirsty, led by Saw Gerrera, which is why they were looking.
And I kind of knew that he had gone so far to the extreme. He was damn close to being a terrorist.
Yeah. I would totally call him a terrorist.
Yeah.
Completely.
But I get it. He's been in it since the Clone Wars, and he's seen it. He's seen all the destruction and everything they've done. And even when he's finally face to face with Jyn, he's questioning. Are you with the Empire? Are you coming to kill me?
Yeah, I mean, he's lost his marbles.
Yeah,
he's 85% cyborg. Yeah, I mean, he's clearly been through some shit. But Jyn was supposed to reach him to get to Galen, and that's what the Rebel Alliance is looking for because, Galen got a message out saying, hey, this weapon's being built. Great. Jumping into a civil war, that's where we get Help me with names. You're always way better with it. Captain Andor.
Oh, Cassian Andor. Yeah. Basically, they're kind of all captured. You got Cassian Andor. Jin got captured. Baze got captured. Sharut Imwe got captured
by Guerrero's forces.
Yeah, by Guerrero's forces. Which they had some really cool creatures in his henchpen or whatever.
Henchpen, I like that term.
But so they're basically on the outskirts of Jeddah. The planet Jeddah is a moon. There is Jeddah City, which is what we had all seen in the trailers, and the Empire is aware that one of their pilots has gotten a message out to Saw Gerrera. So they're basically like hunting down in the streets everybody, questioning them, give me your papers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Nazi tactics.
Yeah, I mean they're straight up going person to person looking for whoever, and then like Saw's men, like they just basically do this ambush attack, and because the stormtroopers, the whole reason for them being there, the Empire being there, is they're getting kyber crystals.
Yep.
They need kyber crystals to power up the Death Star for the weaponization, and they do a terrorist attack on it, and then they...
Well, the Empire's marching through the streets, and they get, they get a militia-style attack, get leveled against the Empire. Prior to that, you saw Captain Andor, or Andorra, or whatever. Andor. He's clearly a rebellion intelligence guy, deep cover on a lot of stuff. He's there because he's hearing about the weapon talk.
One of his informants
gave
him the intel.
And you see how ruthless he is in his early scenes. Like, he is willing to gun down his own, allies, informants, because he, for whatever reason.
Well, he wasn't going to be able to get away with it.
Yeah, feels
because the stormtroopers were coming, so he killed him.
Feels it's justified.
And I was just like, damn. Like, as soon as that happened, I knew, like, well, this is going exactly where I thought it was going.
It did and it didn't, because that sets up that, he's an intelligence officer who will make the difficult decisions or follow orders. And, fast forward later in this movie, you see him attempt to assassinate Galen, or planning to assassinate Galen, and doesn't do it. So there wasn't a payoff to that. Like it was added tension, and then again, is this character drama that needs to develop between Jin and them, and then there is a brief blow-up scene, but it's quickly diffused. And that whole bit, I had trouble understanding him.
His English is not good.
It seemed a little forced. Like, again, that whole angle seemed a little forced and could have been written differently. I can understand why he got that order. And yeah. I mean, so the logic...
Because they're looking at it, they don't know all the other stuff. Right. They just know that he's the scientist.
Yeah,
that's all they know.
The rebellion thinks that, stopping Galen, or some in the rebellion think stopping Galen means stopping the Death Star.
Exactly. Because he's the mind.
Yep. And so, the crew that they pick up on Jeddah, which is now Danny Yen, after doing some cool Jedi-ish bow staffing. And
yeah, he took out like 15 stormtroopers in like a, roadway or whatever, and I mean, like, it was pretty badass. That was a good fight scene.
And then Baze, showing off. Both those characters, I think, are entirely geared towards. They have the most badass things in the movie repeatedly, and I think that's entirely geared towards the connection with the Chinese market, which is fine.
But did you notice, like, it seemed like a lot of the people from that planet Jeddah, they all seem to be Asian of some sort.
But I think the number of badass scenes that those two characters have, because you could realistically lose them from the movie and still have the movie. But I love them. They were great.
They were really good. I liked them a lot.
They're great additions. Their designs are cool. They're unique people, and I really think it'll help. That combined with the position of the movie and the overall timeline, it's smart, man. Disney's going after that bigger market, and I hope they get it, because I want more Star Wars.
Yeah. We forgot to mention that they have to escape Jeddah, because once the Empire rolls up with the Death Star, they pretty much evaporate it.
Which, again, another nitpick. So they have to... The Emperor, you don't see in the movie at all.
Yeah.
It's established that Krennic has no direct line on the Emperor.
Nope.
It's only Tarkin and some Vader. And, okay, well, because of all your screw-ups, we want to see that at least this friggin' giant thing works. Why you would decide to, and you don't get a full fire on this weapon until New Hope. You get it at stage 1 twice. But why in the world would you levy that attack at the source of kyber crystals?
They got what they needed. And they needed to kill everybody on that planet that could have gotten the information.
Well, they didn't kill everyone on that planet. They killed everyone in that city.
And the whole outskirts.
Yeah, but that's not the whole planet. I mean,
no,
unless you're assuming there's one civilization on.
They needed to kill everybody in that city because they couldn't find Saw and they couldn't find the pilot. So they got all the troops out of there and killed everybody else.
And I guess that's fair because they do quickly then establish that there are kyber crystals on other planets, and they're. But for me, I think it would be a difficult loss of resource, of a rare resource to do.
And
that.
you know what? Maybe they got all that. Maybe they'd already got them all.
True.
They could have harvested them all. They never make any mention of it. Just that we know from from reading and stuff that's what they were up to. But
while we're on the kybers though, kyber crystals, Star Wars geology, Jin's around her neck played no role.
No,
I mean
just symbolism.
Yeah, I mean just symbolism in connection to the book but again, so there's a few things that I think ran a little false, but now you have your team together.
Mm-hmm.
They flee Jeddah after learning the message from Galen of, hey, I've built a flaw that's easily exploited into this weapon. It's what I've been doing. That's why I've been doing it. I'm not, loyal to the Empire, which I thought was great. And then they set up, how does this information get back to the rebellion and how do they deal with it?
Yeah, so they go to Yavin 4, and it's basically all the leaders of all the Jedi Alliance. They're all kind of having the roundtable discussion, and some of them want to go fight, and some of them see that fighting is pointless, and they're ready to just throw up their hands and give up and be servants to the Empire.
Well, run from it. I mean, if the Death Star exists, what can you do? And there's bickering.
Well, I don't think they necessarily believed her. The people that we don't want to take this chance because we don't even know if what she's telling us is right or wrong.
Right.
And then we're going to go up against something.
Yep, Jin. Yeah. It could be a trap. I mean, Jin shows up with no proof.
Yeah, so that's understandable that they might want to question it and do we really want to take a chance on her word?
Yeah, but I mean, and you see Bail Organa, you see
Mon Mothma.
You see, I swear that guy, you saw him in the guy given Andor orders was in New Hope and in Empire. You see him in the background. That he looks very.
He does.
Very
he looks very familiar. I know he's been in a lot of military war movies. I'd have to look him up, but
I mean, I think I know him from Star Wars. I mean,
it's very possible. Yeah.
So this all played very well. I don't know if you caught it just because I want your timing, but Mon Mothma made reference to Bail Organa about going and getting your old Jedi friend. It was.
Oh, is that when I had to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, it was.
Damn!
You didn't miss anything, honestly. Yeah. It's just it's a tease.
No, that would have been. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. But some of them in the movie were unnecessary. The 3PO and R2 were unnecessary.
Yeah. But it would make sense that they were on Yavin 4. That totally would make sense that they'd have been on Baze.
No, I have issue with this, and we'll get to this in a little bit. I have a lot of issue with where Leia is in this movie, I don't really give up. I mean, R2's with Leia, that's fine. 3PO didn't need to be in the movie. He shows up again, just gratuitous fan service. So. Anyway, Jin convinces a few others and her crew that she developed.
They believe in her
on Jeddah.
Yeah, and they're ready to go
get the plans.
They believe in her and they want to fight.
Yeah, well, and fighting is getting the plans for the Death Star.
Right.
Everyone recognizes that that's the next step, so they go on an unauthorized mission, take a U-wing, fly out, and then this is now you're at your climax of the film, and this is a great climax minus a few nitpicky things, but you've got Scarif is the
jungle island planet.
I hesitate to call it a planet because it's just that one city or that one spire. Like it's
still a planet.
Yeah, but I mean.
It's the one you see in the trailers. It's got a lot of water. It's got the palm trees.
But for our purposes, everything there takes place in like one spot, like in a whole planet. So I'm mixed on it on some of that.
It's probably not a populated planet, I would imagine. I
don't know. It looks like Jamaica, man. It looks like beaches and fish and hanging out.
It looked like all water.
Swimwear.
But
there's plenty of there's all kinds of beaches around that tower. Effectively,
but it makes sense for them to set up,
it's the
set up the Empire cloud on a planet that would be nothing but water where nobody would live anyway.
It's not the cloud. You don't have too much. This is Star Wars. We don't have too much like data transmission via cloud. This is what I thought was the giant thumbstick in the beach of the Empire. It was here's our backup hard drive.
Well, let's talk about the shield.
Well, the planet is surrounded by a shield generator, planetary shield generator, which, again, if you're protecting the thumbstick of the Empire that has all the blueprints of all the crap.
This is basically the Empire server.
Right.
And they've got like a massive, it's kind of outside the atmosphere. It's kind of where you see the space battle, but it's a big circular... space station or whatever, and they open up the force field for you to go in. Yeah, you got to get clearance to go in.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool looking. I thought it was. I liked it.
I liked it. It made sense in the world of as it's expensive and would only be used in these rare instances to protect heavily important Empire stuff. Makes sense with the technology of the shield generators around ships. On a larger scale, I really enjoyed that angle of it. I thought it was.
Well, I think they learned their lesson
from Force Awakens.
No, they learned their lesson with the shield generator like this, having it outside the atmosphere. So then when they get to Andor,
it's on the planet. Atmosphere. Yeah, it's actually on the planet. Interesting. So you get your everyone splitting up to accomplish the mission. Which that's when you start getting your... This is when the movie really took off for me.
It kicks into high gear.
It does, and this is when it kind of became its own thing. I mean, I had... I didn't really feel a great connection to the film until this point. You had everyone, doing their piece to steal the plans. How do we send them? Oh no, things are looking bad. Basically, when things start looking bad, what roll in?
Oh, stormtroopers.
Wouldn't it? The AT-ATs.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And a lot of them.
Yep. I mean, at this point, you're dealing with a few, probably 20 ground 20 ground rebels.
Yeah, 20, 30 max.
And yep.
But what was cool is we had, oh gosh, what's his name? The pilot, Bodhi Rook. He stayed with the ship. Cassian tells him, stay with the ship. You're our only way out of here. So they need, he's on the, basically they're in an Imperial ship. He's like, oh, they're on runway 4, 20 or 30 of them, rush it in. And then he gets another guy to get on there with another voice. And he's like, there's 45 of them rushing in on landing bay 6. And
it was
so
clever.
They're kind of spreading out the troops to...
Right, and it's working. It's clever. It's a good scene. And then you have, after that point, you have the rebellion forces show up en masse for the space battle.
Oh, yes. I mean, it is like an army of ants flying out of nothing but TIE fighters. I mean,
it's
onslaught of them.
Yeah, and you are, but this is also probably the biggest rebellion fleet you've ever seen. I'd argue it's on the scale of the Jedi fleet.
I think it's bigger.
Yeah, if not bigger.
Did you see how many of those like massive Corellian?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of them.
And it was very well done. The shield angle, getting what they could through the shield. Mm-hmm. You saw some great cameo call-outs with Gold Leader and Red Leader, I for heaven help me, I don't know if those actors are still alive or if that
I
was...
swear that one guy looks very familiar to the guy that actually missed the shot on the Death Star the first time.
Gold Leader.
Yes. Did he not look just like him?
They both looked like it. That's why part of me thinks it was footage taken.
I think they might have CG'd the face on him
and then carried the voice line in, because the voice is spot on.
Oh yeah,
it's the exact.
I instantly was like, "What?"
But the Shield gives a great space battle dynamic of getting a few ships through to help the people on the ground, meanwhile dealing with the big battle up front. And
they did actually get it down. Well, before they actually got the shield locked down,
they got some X-wings.
It looked like maybe 6 or 8 of them made it through.
Yep, and they're helping deal with the walkers.
They're taking those things out pretty good.
Here's when I start to have some breakdown. You deal with them going after. So who the first guy to go down is K2SO.
Yeah. Okay. K2SO. I mean, they're in this like computer room where all the info is, and he's kind of outside. They're kind of in where the actual hard drives would be of the info, and they've got to get it out. He's kind of out there. He's getting bum rushed.
It's the movie Hackers. Honestly, there's a 90s movie called Hackers where Angelina Jolie shows her boobs and Matthew Lillard's in it, and it's a hilarious piece of movie. But hackers have to use robot arms to fight for tapes and pull tapes out and put them in things, and that's all I got from this scene was them trying to use.
I've never seen that movie. So.
Well, but they're trying to use the claw machine to get the Death Star plans, and that was just a little gratuitous for me. That kind of.
I didn't care. It didn't bother me. I mean.
So you end up with them having to jump in after K2SO goes down to climb to the top of the tower with the plans in tow. Well, this is my biggest beef with this movie is Krennic. Krennic is chasing him, and then there's a fake out death for Captain Andorra, I keep calling it Captain
Cassian Andor.
Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor. Yeah, I still don't have it. And you get to that scene partially from the trailer where she's walking on that catwalk,
but there was no TIE fighter that pops up. Yep.
And it just all that seems so forced. Like Krennic in Catalyst, he was the best part of Catalyst for me.
He was very different, and he's. I think the thing is he was different because he was at the point where he had already done all the manipulating, all the sweet talking, trying to get Galen to do it because Galen wanted to do it, and tricking him and misleading him. And Galen and his family have already escaped, and he's just like, you know what? I'm done with this shit. I'm going to take him by force. And now that his wife's dead and he doesn't know what is up with his kid, he's going to do this or I'm going to kill him. And...
But see, at that point, I think any human being would spiral into a depression and take their own life or submit to the bullet.
Probably, yeah.
But
I mean, that's...
With all that said, he didn't have any menace to him. He didn't have any...
Krennic?
Yeah, there was not... I mean, he was Tarkin's bitch throughout the movie.
And you could see when he wasn't face-to-face with Tarkin, and we're going to get to Vader in just a moment. When he wasn't face-to-face with them, he was very boasting his chest out, but you could see he had fear toward Vader and he had fear toward Tarkin.
Yeah, and it was, and I didn't get that vibe from him at all in the book.
I guess it's hard to translate because that's a visual thing. We're sitting there, you could see the fear in his face.
Yeah,
where it's hard, there's nothing that Krennic wants more than he keeps every time the time he talked to Vader, he's wanting reassurance that he's going to have control of the Death Star and that the Emperor will know that he succeeded. He's relaying that same information to Tarkin. He wants that so bad. And Tarkin's point blank telling him, I'm telling the Emperor I'm taking the Death Star.
Yeah.
And he's looking like, are you kidding me? I put my whole life into this.
I built this thing and I'm just handing it over. Well, guess what? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you're going to do it because I say you're going to do it. And I will say, damn, they did a good job with Tarkin.
Yes, they really did.
That
I loved more Tarkin.
like they CG'd him. I mean, it was motion capture, but damn, that might be the best CG
Yep.
of a human. And I thought the Michael Douglas one in Ant-Man was so good.
Yeah. This more Tarkin was great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to our favorite.
All right, so now we're gonna get into the death.
The death?
Before we get into death, let's talk about Vader. First scene, we're rolling up on a lava planet, and this is Vader's castle. And instantly, when I saw the lava, I was like, "Holy shit!"
I was shaking my head.
They're gonna put Vader's castle in this?
I was shaking my head. You made such an audible, like, woohoo! In the theater that, like, you were the only one that really put that together.
I was the only one.
And,
everybody else in there was oblivious.
Yeah, I mean, but it was, we knew he was coming.
Vader's only in it for 2 scenes, but damn, are they powerful.
Yeah.
So he summons Krennic there because Tarkin told him to.
Yep.
And
they're upset because they're worried that there's
he's failing.
There's leaks of information related to the secret weapon, and they need to figure out where it's coming from, why it's coming from.
And it's all his screw up.
Yeah, and it's all Krennic and because his connection to Galen.
So you could see the level of fear in Krennic's face when Vader come rolling in there. And he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be talking to Vader. He's got other things to do. Plus, he's scared out of his mind because a meeting with Vader only ends one way.
Yeah.
And
it does end with a force choke.
Yeah, he walks off, and next thing you know, Krennic's having a little trouble swallowing and breathing, and
humbled like a bitch.
Yeah, he dropped him to his knees, and he says, "Don't choke on your
ambition."
On your ambition," and walks off. And oh, wow,
it was a good scene. It was a good scene.
So now.
But after this, Krennic scurries off.
Goes straight to Scarif because he knows that that's where they're headed.
Yeah, and so then we're back to where we were, so you've got them trying to get this tape, trying to get the uplink to get it through the shield, trying to bring the shield down. All this is happening at once. It's frantic. It's fun. I wouldn't say it's fun. It's frantic. It's good action. Here's my big nitpick. All right, they're climbing up the tower. We have the fake out death of Cassian and Andor.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Took me 40 minutes and watching a movie. They're crawling up to the top of this tower. Oh, there's catwalks and railings. There's a fake out death where he clearly gets shot and falls down. But all right, so it ends with Jin facing down Krennic, which again, what the hell is going on? Why is Krennic, this old, Empire dude chasing people around
Well, he does it like he knows his fate if these people.
I get that, yeah. but he has battalions of robotic black death troopers, which God, I hate the robot thing that they added.
And they
just were gone. He sent them to go fight and kept 2 himself, and they were taken out. Yeah, and I get that, but if you're that guy and you're guarding the station and you're in a battlefield, you're not sending your entire battalion of troops.
Well, they only had, I think, 5 or something, 6 or whatever. But
so you end with it. It just seemed like every movie that has a tower scene or like a clock tower or like the battles happening up in that with a railing death and a fake out ending where you're all pointing guns at each other, and then someone shows up off screen and shoots, and it just that bit of it just didn't work for me. It
didn't bother me. I mean, I would have been more shocked if when he fell, because it wasn't that far. I would have been more shocked if that's how he died.
See, I would have loved it because at the end there you have Krennic and Jin staring each other down, and you could do a quick draw. You could do a both get shot, but.
She gets the kill shot.
Jen has better aim. Instead, you get, fake out death, shows up to save her, cliche movie nonsense, and it cheapens Jen. It makes her...
I wouldn't say it cheapens her.
I'd say it makes her a weaker character. I would argue that.
Like,
Well, but
I mean, like, okay.
But what's the purpose of him surviving? Because it's just this potential fake out romance while they're waiting to die. Like, that's all that happens the rest of that movie, and it would have been so much more powerful if it was just Jyn. If she had reached
I agree, but
and
I don't
she
think
was on her own.
I mean, I agree with you. It probably would have been better if he fell to his death and they had the shootout and she got the better shot and, you know, she hobbles off and, you know. But I don't think it makes... I mean, you're talking about like that one scene that just like...
Nitpicky.
It is.
I get it's nitpicky.
But you know what? If that's what you've got to nitpick to find something, they did a good job.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm not remotely saying don't see
Do you want
this
to talk about the other people that...
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything unique to say.
I'm just talking about like...
Yeah, you lose Danny Yen.
Yeah, basically there's a switch that needs to be like turned on so that...
We need to connect the communications relay.
Well, they have to open up the shield to get
the signal
to get
out.
signal through.
Right.
And so basically, you know, he's one with the Force and he walks out there and... Like, as soon as he I kind of saw it. I mean, it's telegraphed as hell, but...
Right.
But, you know, it didn't bother me. Like, you know, as soon as he gets it clicked, I mean, he gets shot.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They shoot that. They shoot it, and then there's a big explosion.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's going to be how he dies. And, you know, I mean, that was kind of sad because, like, you could see him and Baze that they had a brotherly connection, and
we like these characters that it worked well together, and they were funny and badass, and it all worked.
Yeah.
I didn't like how Baze went down.
But I kind of saw that. I mean, that was your stereotypical.
You know.
I mean, you killed my friend.
Yeah.
You know, and he embraced, like, you know, he was sitting there chanting, you know, I am the Force, and I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. And he takes out a shit ton of the Death Troopers and other Stormtroopers, and you know, there's a Marty bomb, basically.
But I will say that my favorite death in the whole thing, honestly, was the random black rebel who's like,
I'll go get it.
I'll go get it. And I'll go get I'll go get what Danny Yen was gonna do. I'll go get it, and then instantly
literally one step, barely got the words out of his mouth. Boop.
Yeah, down, dead. That's when you start realizing after K2SO dies, okay, that's your droid. You got that. All right. It hurts.
It sucked because I was like, oh, I hope that droid makes it out of
right. But it's a real fun character.
Yeah.
But it's the droid, so it's not a human.
Right.
After that is when shit starts hitting the fan, and you really get this war movie. You get this, people are going down, these characters you're watching. I would argue there's more starship destruction in this than any film. Mm-hmm. I think you're losing tons of X-Wings.
Oh, the Rebellion lost a lot of ships.
Oh, yeah.
They even sacrificed one to take down one of the Star Destroyers.
Yep.
They kamikazed it, like, to take out the shield generator thing.
And what I liked about that piece was I always, you know, in retrospect, not upon first early viewing or whatever, but, you know, the squadrons that go after the Death Star, there's no capital ships. The Rebellion sends no capital ships. They're all just starfighters. And I understand, you know, that's what their plan is, but you still need some things drawing fire.
Right. Well, they did it. Jedi had them.
Again, but we're going to New Hope because of the time frame of the movie. But it makes sense because by the end,
they lose a lot.
Yeah, they get destroyed. You know, the shield comes down. They get the information. And then Vader's ship shows up, and you just see it wrecking stuff in the background.
Oh my god! I could have watched a whole movie of that. It's they uploaded it to this one main transport ship.
What are the Mon Calamari?
Yeah, and you know, next thing you know, like, because it's kind of lost some power, and you know they latch onto it.
Well, Death Star shows up. Tarkin on the Death Star shows up.
Yes, they know because the Death Star's already blown up the planet or
blown up Jeddah.
No, they've already blown up Scarif.
Oh well, okay. So just for timeline's sake, your Death Star shows up, and then Vader's capital ship comes in.
Right, but what I'm saying is, after they blow up the ship, after the Death Star blows up Scarif, and they all say, you know, Rogue One, may the Force be with you.
Right.
they realize that planet, they're not getting off the planet, so they're all jumping to light speed and getting the hell out of Dodge. Like, a couple of them make it out of light speed, and there comes Vader's ship, just cock blocks all of them.
Well, and you literally see one of those transports from Empire just smack into it. And
it looked like
up.
a TIE fighter. It was so small against it.
Yeah, it just great space battle.
Yeah.
I don't want to gloss over nuking Scarif. I don't want to do that because I think that was really powerful visuals. Yeah. I think it was a really strong anti-atomic weapons message. You have Cassian Andor and Jyn, on a beach watching it come at them. Like, not forced romance, not a kiss, but like, this is our end, watching it come. And I just, wow, was that
You know what it reminded me of? That movie Deep Impact from many years ago, when the lady and her dad just sat there on the beach and hugged each other.
Well, yeah, it's a very similar scene. I think the context and the anti-nuclear weapon message is pretty powerful to play with, especially in a Disney movie, Star Wars. I mean, this was a war movie. You have a lot of casualties.
They didn't pull one punch.
No, they really, really didn't. So, and then let's talk about the very ending of it.
So once that ship, that freighter ship that the calamari have, it's kind of losing some power. Vader latches onto that thing, sends transport over. He goes over. Next thing you know, there's like this long corridor, and they're uploading all the information, and they're running down this hallway, and all the lights go out, and you hear the Vader march, and you're just like, holy shit, here it goes.
We're finally getting it.
And it's pitch black dark, and they can't get the slab door open. And next thing you know, you hear the breathing, and that saber clicks on. I'm telling you, this is what I've been wanting to see for so many years. He went through them. This was like straight up like
tissue paper.
Massacre.
Tissue paper.
Like, he was force choking them, throwing them on the ceiling,
and they're all wearing those goofy ass helmets.
You could see, like, they look like damn Michael Myers is coming after them. Like, this is he just rips through them like they're not even there. It was the awesomest scene I've ever seen with Vader.
Well, and I loved it. As soon as you couldn't get the second door down the hallway open, only a crack, you knew it was going to happen. They were going to reach through. And then. So this is the setup for New Hope, and again, probably done for marketing reasons and to break into the Chinese market. I don't understand why Princess Leia was there. I don't understand.
It made total sense.
At this point, she's an undercover diplomat. Her whole cover is she's a diplomat from Alderaan. Why in the world would she be on a rebellion ship in her cruiser, ready to run? Like, that piece of it just didn't work for me because it opens...
She had to have the plans for the Death Star.
They needed to be on their way to her. They needed to be either on R2 or they needed to be going in that direction. Or no, not on R2. They needed to be going to her.
Right.
I don't know why she was at this battle. That's what doesn't make sense to me. It does. I don't.
Judging the way she is later on in life, it makes total sense that she'd be there. She never scared away from it, regardless of what anybody thought she was. Her dad was highly involved in it. She was far more involved in it than what the general public knew.
Yeah, but again, that's the whole thing, is that it was undercover. Putting her in an open battle like that...
She never steered away from it, ever.
Is she the captain of the ship? What's she doing there? Like, what's she contributing?
Her mission is to get those plans to Obi-Wan Kenobi, get them to Obi-Wan, get Obi-Wan back to Alderaan. That's the whole mission that gets spoiled when Vader gets on that ship. That's her whole mission.
I see it, man. I would not risk that asset in that battle. I wouldn't do it. I don't see the point of it. I don't know why she'd be there.
But she was always there.
Fair enough. Those are fair.
Like, in your logic, she should have never been on Endor.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. By that point, she's openly, like...
I think like, when they come up with the Death Star, it's like, you know what? This undercover shit's done. Like... Enough's enough. Like, you know,
I see it, but I don't see it. I don't. You don't put the first lady at the battle. Hanging out near Fallujah. You don't do stuff like that.
Well, I guarantee your dad was.
He was off doing something.
I bet you.
He's probably.
I bet you he was there in one of those ships.
He's heading back to Alderaan.
For warmer weather.
Pick up some Carl's Jr. and hang out at Alderaan.
But you know what? The Leia, that was another good CG.
It looked good.
Damn, it looked good. They are getting good, like really good. But basically, after Vader goes through that whole corridor and rips every rebel a new one, there are a couple obviously that get away and they get in Leia's ship, and he's standing there looking, and you could just see he is pissed.
Yeah.
And that's what that's when.
So it's a direct prequel to New Hope.
Yeah, her ship jumps to light speed. She's on the way to go get Obi-Wan, and he's. Somehow or another, they track that ship down and catch it before it gets to Tatooine. But
so I mean, it makes me want to watch New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I wonder if it'll have that same impact in the target market that's aiming for. I would not ever in a million years start someone on Star Wars watching this movie.
No,
never.
I don't think it would have the levity.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has. It's dark. Everyone dies. Everyone, it's destruction. It's war.
You learn really, when the stuff really starts going down, you have a great understanding that these people are willing to do whatever it's going to take to stop this empire. I mean, the Calamari guys get the Hammerhead Carillion over here, and he rams one of those Star Destroyers to bring it down. They're willing to sacrifice that ship, everybody in it, to get that Death Star. To get that.
And there's a nice build up to that. There's a nice, hey, 30 soldiers went and started this. Those others that were interested, okay, they show up.
Mm-hmm. Even that one general, like when the private runs out there and tells Mon Mothma, she's like, General's whatever his name was, he went to go fight, and she grins. She loves it because she wanted to fight.
Right.
But the rules are we don't do anything unless we all agree on it.
The whole council. Yeah. Right. So, it's a great movie. It's the nitpicky stuff I have is just entirely nitpicky.
Yeah. There's always stuff that I'd like to see done differently. I would have liked to see Vader ripping through everybody on Scarif.
Well, and I think but here's what I'll say. You're getting this was your tease into Vader movie. If there's enough acceptance
I would love for you to be right. I
guarantee you're gonna get it. You're gonna get those Vader movies. He's so easy to do stuff with, given that it's a costume and a suit. And
he's iconic.
And he's not. But
there's people that have never seen Star Wars and know what Vader is.
That and the Falcon.
Yep.
But you don't have. You don't have any reason not to see that now if audiences will tolerate it. If we're already willing to accept it, not just the veiled threat of it, because I like the veiled threat of it. I like that he's menacing without having to be this monster. But, it was.
But when the monster comes out, I want to see the monster.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. There's only 2 scenes, and there's only one scene where Vader really unleashes, but damn.
Well, and with that, you had that. So take the parallel to Yoda, okay? Yoda, we didn't see do much of anything because it was a puppet in the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. And Lucas was like, I finally have the technology to have him make a little sword fight. And I thoroughly disagree with that. I like Yoda being a wise master and
That's fair.
I think he would be above lightsabers, personally, and I enjoyed him more when he was. But it was now we have the technology and the special effects to let Vader loose. And it's not corny, and it's not we're throwing boxes at Luke from off camera with some wind machines blowing.
Yeah.
It is
straight
everything you expect it to
massacre.
be. Yeah.
Like he impaled that one guy and it went through the corridor.
Yep.
Like it was just like they were screaming like you know, the most scariest thing in the world was coming behind him. Like, I don't, you know, it just makes me wonder, had they always heard about it? Did they even know what Vader was? Or was this just a monster that came to this corridor?
And it worked, man. It worked. The movie worked to a great degree.
They, you know, in my mind going into it, I wanted to think, you know, a lot of these people shouldn't be in, they should die in this movie just because. I thought they were going to do it, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't know. Maybe they won't. You know, and I will say they did a lot of things in this movie that they needed to do, and I wasn't sure if they had the balls to do it, and I'm damn glad they did.
Yeah, I got to say, Disney, people worrying that Disney is going to make everything too kiddie
I think
is not
this is
happening.
something I think a lot of people, you yourself, stop thinking of this as Disney, even though they are the parent company. I think they have a good track record with Marvel, letting Marvel do Marvel. I think they're letting Lucas do Star Wars.
Well, I mean, Lucas has nothing to do with it. They throw all his ideas in the trash can. Yeah,
Lucasfilms.
There, I'll accept the correction.
I think think of it like this is Lucasfilms. They're letting Marvel do everything Marvel wants to do. They're not meddling. They're not getting in the way and trying to keep it at a certain this or that. They did. I mean, this is all good. You know, this isn't Mickey Mouse.
No, it's definitely not. Go see it.
Yep.
Thanks you guys for checking out our talk. We're looking like we're running out a little bit of steam, but we're going to come back. We're going to play around, maybe having a guest on, talking about some more Rogue One.
Yep.
Got some fun things coming down the pipeline for you guys for Christmas. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening to us talk about Rebels and Catalyst, and may the Force be with you. We're going to keep coming to you in the new year.
All right, go see Rogue One. Definitely a good one. Awesome scenes, and may the Force be with you.